Nikon has, this week, just yesterday for the Z9 and today for the Z8, released two new firmware updates for its flagship Z9 and its direct descendant, the Z8. Hi, Ray here. The Z9 update is minor, and I won't make you sit through listing all the changes in 4.01, other than to say it addresses glitches that can occur with various combinations of settings that aren't likely to affect me. And to be honest, I haven't taken advantage of the update yet. Now, some people claim that Nikon includes other improvements in these updates that aren't necessarily listed in the log. I don't have any insight as to whether these comments go beyond online assumptions or if there's anything to the claims. I will say that when it comes to the Z9, the major updates, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, have really given us Z9 owners something like new camera releases with every one. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Nikon is the new Kzen king. Every time I pick up the Z9, which is almost every day, even since my Z8 arrived in May, I'm usually packing both of them on any shoot. I'm just gobsmacked by what a capable and versatile camera it really is, whether I'm using it for photos or video. And its in-camera video capabilities are legendary, I have to say. I don't know why more filmmakers aren't acknowledging that fact. And the same goes pretty much for the Z8. So, on to firmware 1.01 for Z8, the first firmware update. Not a huge one, but some interesting changes that I have implemented. Changes from C firmware version 1 to 1.01 are change the timing of the high temperature warnings appearing when the camera's internal temperature increases, mainly during video recording. Changed the position where the memory card high temperature warning is displayed in video mode. Fixed the following issues. The battery would draw down more quickly while the camera was off if on was selected for connect to smart device Wi-Fi connection in the network menu, even if off was selected for both Bluetooth connections and upload while off. Focus could still be adjusted using the focus ring when disable was selected for A15 manual focus ring in AF mode in the custom settings menu. If an option other than nonlinear was chosen for F9, focus ring rotation range in the custom settings menu. And the SB800 flash units would sometimes stop responding after pictures were taken with the flash disabled. Again, I don't think I've run across any of the bugs. The timing of temperature warnings is an interesting change. Those of you who have seen my recent card test videos will have seen how long it took for those warnings to show up in my admittedly unscientific tests. Nikon doesn't say whether those times have been shortened or lengthened. The card warning, as it said, now shows up in a different place on the screen. As I showed in my tests, the first camera warning shows up as amber, progressing to red. And the camera doesn't necessarily shut itself down, even if the warning is ignored for some time. Not that I'm suggesting you do that. As I say, my tests weren't scientific, though I did test in some pretty hot ambient temperatures of 27 degrees Celsius and above. I might add here that early reports of gross overheating problems were, well, grossly exaggerated. While it's true that the Z8 can't match the heat dissipation of the Z9, I mean, body size alone would preclude the same kind of performance, I think for most people's use case, the Z8 would be just fine. As I said in one of those recent card test videos, external power would make sense in any long-term video use. That alone would ameliorate one of the heat sources. But as I plan to illustrate in an upcoming video, the Z8 is a perfect camera for run-and-gun style video capture. And really, at least my approach in that kind of production, clips are most often under a minute each. Talking head stuff maybe runs to 45 minutes tops. All no problem recorded to the primary CF Express slot on the Z8, or even the secondary UHS-2 card slot, even 8K 10-bit video. I haven't rerun my video tests after firmware 1.01. I'm convinced that the Z8 does everything that I need it to do in that department. Finally, and thankfully, the weather has returned to more seasonal temperatures here, so I really couldn't do the same kind of comparison. These updates continue the course we've seen Nikon take with all the Z cameras. I'm hoping, in fact, to see them add a couple of features from the Z8 to the Z9. Please, Nikon, give me skin softening on both of these workhorses. A couple of other things. The Nikon Z 180-600mm f5.6-6.3 VR lens seems to be more available in some markets, but not yet, as of today, in the major outlets in Canada. The shop I deal with, Kerrisdale Cameras, lists it as available this month, August. Not too many days left then. It's a lens that, if money was no object, I might consider when I need the versatility of a zoom. I know there's many wildlife photographers who waited for it, and obviously some are still waiting. Nikon, I'd be happy to put it through its paces on my home turf, or surf, here on the Wild West Coast. Something that's always a challenge to me when it comes to video creation is audio. A lot of that challenge comes from my fairly rudimentary knowledge of audio post-production. I've made advances, but I'm still far from calling myself proficient, shall we say. Again, I might best spend my time improving my post-processing skills. And I do try to fit that in between making photos and these YouTube videos. But a lot does depend on gear as well. So I anticipate testing some new, affordable technology later this month. I'm guessing it won't be long before we see further firmware releases for these cameras as well. I bet, for instance, this incremental update for the Z8 is just the beginning of what we'll see for this camera. After all, the X-Speed 7 has already proven what kind of power it has to spare in the Z9. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it the old thumbs up. And if this is your first time here, please consider subscribing. We'd love to see you again. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. In the meantime, take care, cheers, we'll see you later.